everyone, Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room with you today, creating another one of the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set, or Gnome for the Holidays cards for our class in September. I hope you enjoy making these cards as much as I enjoy creating them. Thanks so much, and I'm going to flip you around and we'll get started. Hi! Okay, there we are. Oops. Get it so that it's square. Move it up a bit. Okay, so this is the second card we're going to make, and it uses the Majestic Mountain dies for the trees, and then I use birch for the background. Now, if you don't have birch, use what you have, or you can emboss it too. It doesn't matter. Okay, so the supplies we're going to use this time is the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set, the Rustic Retreat stamp set. We're using the Sending Warm Christmas Wishes, and the inside has the house on it as well. The birch background stamp, Tasteful label dies, this one again, the Majestic Mountain dies. So there's the trees from the Majestic Mountain, and there's the die from the Tasteful labels. The bling on here is the Elegant Faceted Gems. There we are. We have some of those to put on, and you can use either the clear ones or the frosted ones. This one has frosted, and I'm going to use clear for the card that we're making today. And I'm using my Stamparatus because I have discovered that if I use the Stamparatus for the big stamps, it's a lot easier because I don't have to worry about whether I get it all stamped at once or not, because if you tape your cardstock down, because I can't use the magnet because the stamp is so big, so I elect to put some tape on the back of the cardstock that I'm attaching. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way and I'll show you how I do that. So I've just put a little bit of repositionable tape on there, and I've set myself a jig because I don't like going right over to the edge, because you always end up not getting it stamped properly. So I'm just pushing that down in the center where I have the adhesive, and we'll ink this up. I'll put it this way. It's a lot easier to ink if you put a stamp set behind it. You get better ink coverage. So I'm just going to ink the birch up just like I normally would. Now if you don't have a Stamparatus, oh my, you need one. I'm starting to use mine more and more, and I find that it's really helping. Okay, so now I'll just move this over so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now the ink is on there, the paper is down. I'm just going to turn it over, push on it firmly. I don't want to really reef on it because you can break your hinges, but just rub your hand across it and then gently let it go. You want it to release from the paper. So there we are. That's a little weird there, but I'm sure it will dry fine. And we'll cover that part up anyways. And then if I didn't get this stamped properly, then I could just re-ink it and stamp it again because the paper has not moved, because it's stuck. Okay, now I have to take this off because my stamp has now got ink on it. I don't want it all over my Stamparatus because then I have to wash it. Okay, so we have our background done. Oh, you know what I did? Oh my God, was I blonde? This is the piece that goes on the inside. Ah, okay. Well, we'll be getting a new inside piece. So now we get to do it all over again with the real piece. Okay, you're probably laughing your heads off now. I'm glad I'm so entertaining. You do the same thing. So you take the smaller of the pieces and use a little bit of tape, put the stamp back in, turn it around so you can watch me do it. Can't believe I did that. Oh, that would have been fun because can you see what I would have done? It doesn't match and it would have been sideways. So let's just turn this around like this so it's actually going to stamp where it's supposed to stamp. Apparently I wasn't supposed to be doing this video today. That's okay. There we are. Take this out of the way so I can bring this back in and we'll just stamp that all over again. Give it a good rubbing. There we are. And I got ink all over that, but that's okay. If you get ink all over your Stamparatus, all you have to do is wash it with a bit of soap or a bit of water. It'll come right off. And there's my tape that I had. Take that off. There we go. Okay, I think I did it right this time. It's so funny. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay, so you have an inside piece, which is right here that I stamped on. So I'll get another one. And then we have a piece of cherry cobbler that's going to go flat on the card front. And then this is going to go flat on the card front. Then we have a piece that says S on it, and that's for the sentiment. And then we have a piece that says G on it, and that's for the gnome. And this, you have one piece or three pieces or something. That's to do the trees. We got to cut 3 trees out of that. Okay, so let's put this off to the side to dry. Get out my cutting plate. Get my gray pieces. And I love this die set because it has 2 trees, so you get to cut 2 out at the same time. Now I'm not going to worry about the stem because I'm going to cut those off anyways. See if I can. This is just a scrap I had. Let me see if I can get 2 of them out of there. I can. I can, but I think if I remember correctly, I needed to cut those upside down. So let's just line them up here. Because sometimes those trees are hard to get out. And then I'm going to take and run it through Maxi. Go slow so it gives it a chance to cut. And then I'm going to run it back again. Just to make sure. Oops, sorry. That was an issue. Uh-oh. See, it didn't cut in the middle. And I think that's because I tried to cut 2 trees at once. Together. So now, cut them apart. And we'll just slip the tree dies back in where they came from. There we are. And that one upside down. Maybe I should turn it a bit. That'll give the machine a better chance of cutting that center part out. These are the old dies. While Sizzix was still making them, and sometimes they were a little bit ornery. But I suspect the new ones are not going to be the same. They're going to be a little bit easier to use. Oh, that's better. Yeah. So, learn from my mistakes. If you're going to cut two out, don't do them at the same time. Cut your paper and put them in a little bit crooked. Oops. Just about dug into my mat there. Right. Take that off. Take this out. Because I still have one more tree to cut. Making sure there's no pieces left in here because it cuts better without the extra pieces in there. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Yep, that looks good. Okay, get rid of all these pieces on here now. And we'll die cut another tree. Upside down, do it sideways. Now I'm not going to run that through quite yet. I want to stamp the sentiment first so I can run it through too. I'm going to take the piece that says S on it, sending warm Christmas wishes, and the cherry cobbler. Stamp that in the middle. Like that. I love those two little things on the edge. This is a really cool stamp set, this one. It's Rustic Retreat. Sorry, I have an itch. And it was in last year's Christmas catalog, and I didn't get it. I completely overlooked it. And then I found it, and I love it. Okay, just running this through the machine. Making sure I get it cut all the way through. That off. And I love how this happy accident of keeping it on the magnetic platform has stopped that from curling. That is amazing. Okay, there's that. And there's one tree. Need my brush. There's another tree. Just going to poke out the extra bits that didn't come out. This takes a little bit of time to get them out of there. That's okay. They have to come out. I guess they don't have to come out. They could be kind of like birds' nests stuck in the trees. Okay, there's one set out. A little bit of paper right there. And then we'll take the last set out. All right, got the trees done. Now, if you want sparkly trees, feel free to add some Champagne Mist Shimmer Spritz if you want. Okay, assemblage now. And then we'll stamp and we have to hand cut that little gnome. So this will go onto our cherry cobbler. like that. And then the cherry cobbler just goes right onto the card front. And I want that part to be at the bottom. I'll just make sure that the card opens the way I want it to. That goes on there like that. Okay, now to do the trees, very easy. I want to try something because I have my silicone mat here. I want to experiment. Do you mind if I experiment? I'm going to run some of this down the center. See what happens. Oh yeah, no. Okay, don't do that. I might have to just cut another tree now that I've destroyed that one. It's all right. So don't put your adhesive down the center because it shows through the holes, which I knew it was going to, but you know, experimentation is the only way to learn stuff. So I'm cutting the stems off because I don't want them. And just put Tombow down the center. Then I'm going to let this dry while we do our gnome stamp and color it. There we are. But I do have to cut another tree now because I destroyed that first one. Oh, I have more paper and I have the tree. And I will just cut one more tree. You know, when you have an idea pop into your head, give it a try. Don't be afraid to try things. If it doesn't work out, oh well, just get another piece of cardstock and do it again. It's not the end of the world. Can't break a card. The only time I have issue with that is when I'm prepping for a class or I'm creating a card for a class and an idea pops into my head. Then I have to make sure that I have the supplies to create the card once my idea is finished popping in my head. There we go. Okay, get rid of those out of my way. Bring my silicone mat back in with my other two trees, and we'll just put this one on and get some glue on it too. Oops. Okay. Let's cut off the stem first. I have to roll my sleeves up because they keep getting caught on things. All right, just whip. And I'm only going down the center of this tree because that allows the tree to kind of have a little bit of lift on the sides and doesn't look quite as dead. It's always important to have live trees. Okay, those are going over there. Out of the way. This is done, and I can't do any more with it, so we'll just stick it off to the side. Get my piece that says G on it, and we'll stamp the gnome in Memento. And then we'll color that, and then our trees should be dry, or dry enough to use. There we are. I never did check to see if I was oriented properly for this video. Let me refresh, and then I will. Okay, so to color him, using Highland Heather for the hat. putting a base coat of light on. Because this one I am going to shade. Because it's really easy to shade. Then for the dark, all I do is go right underneath all the lines like this. And then around his stash where it's going to be dark. Like that. That was the dark. And then you go back with your light and just blend it all in. Like that. And if you don't like it, then just put some more light over top of it. Because the more ink you have, the better it blends. Okay, there we go. Now, cherry cobbler for his, whatever you call them, clothes. I'm going to say dress, but that's not. This is the light cherry cobbler I'm putting on here. He doesn't have a dress, he has clothes. Or pajamas. Could be pajamas. So that's the light. Oh, I made that whole last card and didn't put any bling, any Winkostella on it. Okay, so then you put your dark in where the shadows are going to be. Got a little bit on his beard there, but oh well. Then you just kind of blend that in. And I'm going to use the dark cherry cobbler by itself on the ornament. Okay, I didn't get the other smoky slate. Hang on. I missed getting the dark smoky slate. So this is light smoky slate. Now we're going to do is beard and mustache and do a little shading on it. So first you put down a layer of light. And I'm going to kind of leave a white spot in the middle. And then you go back in with the dark where it would be. So underneath his nose and underneath this mustache here. And then just a couple of lines and up from the bottom. And then go back over with the light and blend it in over top of where you have the light ink. And then I'm just very lightly going to go over the top because I don't want it to be too dark in the center. Here we are. Okay, the ivory. Wrong end of the ivory. Well, no, that's not my end of the ivory. And the hands. And the only... oh! I didn't do the bow. Oh. Dark cherry cobbler for the bow. And dark granny apple green for the leaves. And then light basic black for the shoes. Now you could say, how can you have light basic black? Well, all that means is it's a little bit more opaque or see-through or whatever that word is, so that you can see the lines on his shoes instead of coloring them all in solidly. Okay, now the bad news. You have to hand cut this because there's no dies for these dudes. Okay, go very gently around here. He's not too hard to, none of the gnomes are too hard to cut out. Uh-oh, somebody's at my door. Oh well, it's not going to get me. Probably Jamie bringing my parcel. I'm sorry, Jamie. I am not available to come to the door. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. Now I will just carry on with life. Go around a circle. Yeah, he'll be back on Monday, and then he'll be back again on Tuesday, so it's not like I'm missing seeing him. All right. See, not too hard. There's a few little dipsy doodles they have to go around, but by cutting off the excess, it gets it out of your way. So when you're doing the little dipsy doodle parts, it's a little bit easier. And remember to mostly turn your cardstock, not your hand. It makes it a little bit smoother, but sometimes when you got the little pieces to deal with, it's easier to move your hand. Yeah, that was Jamie. I just heard his truck start up. He parks way out on the road. He does not come up the driveway. He's the only one when we have spare drivers, when he's off on holidays, they come right up the driveway. And the purulators come, like, drive right up to the front door. It's really weird. It's like they can't walk a foot. Okay, so there's our doodle ready to go. And I'm going to get my Wink of Stella. I'm going to do the ornament in Wink of Stella. And I'm going to do the bow and the leaves. There we are. Okay, so let's put some trees on. Get the card the right way up. Bring our trees back in. And see, the glue on them has now turned clear. So I'll be able to put it down and move them if I want. Let's put that one up just a tad higher. And make sure it's straight up and down. There we are. And put this one right about there. And then this one's going to go here, but down a little further. There we go. Oops, that's crooked. There we are. Okay, now this and this are up on dimensionals. And one more. There we are. Okay. So that's going to go right about there. And the gnome's going to go right there. Oh dear. Where's my bow? I didn't make the bows. Uh-oh. Guess I'll be tying some bows. Okay, so let's put this right about there. And we'll do this one him just a bit more. There. All right. There's the ribbon. I get my bow tire. Tie a quick bow. Now this is real red. This is not cherry cobbler, but we don't have any cherry cobbler ribbon right now, so I have to make do. And it doesn't look too bad. Just brightens it up a little bit. Okay, now I need my ribbon scissors. Just give that a little trim. And a glue dot. Then I have to go get another piece of cardstock for the inside. Because apparently I don't know what the inside size is and what the outside size is for this card. Okay, so I'm just attaching the glue dot to the bow, and I'm going to fold it over because it's quite a bit bigger than the ribbon is. And we'll just put that under there like that. And I'll put some bling on. Put one there. And we'll put one here. And we'll put one there. There we go. Can't get them back in there. Come on, cooperate. Thank you. Right back. It's another piece for the inside. So this is the inside. I'm going to stamp the house in smoky slate. Okay, and then on this one, on the envelope, I stamped the other gnome on smoky slate, but I think I'll put the house on this envelope. I like this house. It's an old log cabin. Reminds me of a log cabin friends of ours had when we lived up north. It was one of the oldest buildings north of Prince George. It was right on Summit Lake, and it was all open inside. It had a loft where the bedrooms and stuff were, and then the kitchen was off to the side, and it was enclosed, but the rest of the house was completely wide open, well, except for the bathroom, of course. And we had many card games there, where we used to have like 40 people playing cards all at the same time. We'd have whist tournaments and crib tournaments and potluck dinners. Because, of course, in the north of BC, in the winter, it's very cold, so you can't do any of that stuff outside. In the summer, we used to have our potlucks outside. That was back in the day when our whole community used to get together, and we had a lot of fun. There we are. There's those cards done. So now I'll go tie the bows for the rest of the kits. And this one uses the frosted elegant faceted gems, and this one uses the clear ones. There we go. Thanks very much for taking my class and for watching the video. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Stamp smiles, and bye for now.